Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 46 of Illium, my modded Cities 1 build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Recently we had a live stream where we finally filled in the last gaping hole of the Central Park District, utilising university buildings, mountain village, financial districts, green cities, and renewed history to complete the Central Park area. With the monorail flowing through, this build might be one of my favourites in the city, some incredible sight lines to be had from the now finished Central Park. However, over the last few episodes we've had a lot of themed builds with tourism waterfronts, car factories, oil depots, amongst other things, so the city is screaming for residential. So today we'll add in the residential town centre of the new district of Owsley, and also name the car factory, for which you guys had some really incredible suggestions. But a happy Monday to you all, and welcome back to Illium, everyone. So we're going to name the car factory the Toyota plant, which was a suggestion by Ethan X1P. However, I feel obliged to read some of the other ones. Volkswagen was also good, but we used that in Orchid Bay. Egarari, Egarini, Benedict Automotive, and Rolls Royce was another particular favourite. So thank you for all the suggestions. We now have a car brand, at least, for Illium. But we set up some very basic stuff last episode. So let's just reconfigure what's going to happen with the road network here. So the positioning of the town centre, I think it's going to make sense to sit within this sort of triangle space. So something like that. Then I might even open up this one so it's sitting flush with that grid almost. A little bit of node controller will do some wonders for us here. Let's push the blue and the green open a little. Not the red one, that's already a really short segment. Maybe a touch of orange as well. Just back a little bit, right? Perfect intersection marking nodes here. So we'll position the town centre within this area here. I'm also just going to bring the terrain down as well. So that's going to be a perfect town centre position to sit essentially opposite the stadium, right? And then let's just draw in the rest of these road frames here. Simple expenditure down to current existing arterial frames. So just to work over the road layout, we have non-parking roads on the entrance into the town square here, alongside some tree lining on the interior as well. Now I think I'm also going to downgrade this particular bit of the couplet system to two lane regular, that is, just because I'm probably going to want some buildings here. So during a city showcase a few weeks ago, we had an excellent example of someone essentially using all the water-bound assets. I think it was Acid Ryan's showcase. So I've got the two ponds, and also the 10th anniversary park as well. And combined into a certain configuration, I think we can have an awful lot of fun here with essentially a water-bound town centre, if you like. So of course the cake has to be the centrepiece. It's just so bold, isn't it? And then I'll have this pond up at the front. We're going to need a road through here. We'll go for something with a median and some grass lining. Then again, no we're not. It makes much more sense to use a pedestrian road here, doesn't it? So we'll have that go through. We'll worry about pedestrian area in a minute. We might actually be able to factor in a nice little service point to the design here. The central segment, I'm going to go down to no trees, just so it opens up this centre yard between them all. And then with these two here, we can get you right over the edge. I think there's definitely a fusing here between the pond assets to explore. I might need to bob some hedging off of them, which is okay, because I'll likely do my own. I think I'm happy with it. It definitely needs good old Bob to come up and sort things out though. Yeah, it's the sparse hedge asset here that needs to go. By the wonderful world of Bob, of course. And this road is also a little bit too much now, isn't it? Let's bring that down to grassland. And a few of the trees are also leaking over as well, so I'm going to further bob. And it's the generic pine tree, I think, that really wants to go. Maybe a few of the horse chestnut trees too. Which does thin out the trees on the park a little bit, but we'll add our own back in. So there's connection nodes occasionally dotted around on these assets. They're not always in the most logistical of places. But I think I'll be happy with that. Again, completely inspired by one of the wonderful city showcases we had recently. Don't forget to check that playlist out. Lots of inspiration over there. And then we've got some nice little 4x4 squares, so I think we'll go for like more park attraction. So things like bouncy castle parks. Maybe something from the amusement park stuff if it's not too obnoxious. We do have another Ferris wheel only there. I feel like 2 Ferris wheels in town is not appropriate. Maybe one of the carousels instead, I think. Okay, so major park centre. Let's go ahead and bring in the nice palm vibes on those roads too. Now, just to come back to the buses, we should also mirror this route as well, I think. And then just mirroring back to the F1 circuit. Then we got Owsley Loop A and B. We'll make them the same bus. And then we'll do a contrasting thing. We'll go red and orange here. Okay. I think if I drew a road up the side of the bus station, he'd be able to turn properly. I'm pretty sure that's a fix for when they start misbehaving. But I'll let him do that, and then he can in fact actually come through and stop at these districts before the mirroring then continues as it comes down here. And so that will hopefully feed quite a few more. There's already people waiting actually, which is good. Emergency services are going to be required in many a form. Town currently doesn't have any medical care. So it might actually be game for a high capacity hospital here from Plazas. Not only because it sits and fits, but again, I think the orientation. I think I'm happy for everything, essentially, this space here to be medium density as it is this side. Because then it'll give us a really natural climb in the town as we continue to build it, but I can't really refuse that, right? Isn't that just such a nice opening to the town, that big important medical building? That worked out a lot better than I thought it would. Quite happy with that. That's medical. Let's also give them some of the other things that they love. We'll have a community pool on the corner. Adds to our water theme, doesn't it? And they can also have a yoga garden, which will be in and around the town centre, orbiting the hospital. And a sauna as well. Let's have this on the corner there too. Firefighting. We do still need... That's medical, isn't it? Yeah. We still need fire helicopters. Which I did draw out some more industrial looking frames over here. So I'm going to put that there for right now. I'll likely detail that with some further industry work. Almost blend it into the warehouse. But that will account for firefighting force over here. And then lastly, a police station, which is very appropriate really for the tourism waterfront, isn't it? We'll go for the police headquarters. And that's going to sit really perfectly there with the park, isn't it? I actually just want to budge the cake along, so to speak. There we go, just so it sits with the bridge. Always love coming back to these builds, just regular town centre district, you know, a place for post, groceries, a nice latte perhaps if it's been a good month. They're actually walking through onto that road there, so I'm going to remove the fence. And then in terms of where this is going to go, as we take the whole fence off this road, because those path connections are going to become active. I think we'll just go like this. Completely box in the cake. And then we'll just tuck that into the path node. A little bit of square. And we can just open it right up here. And give us a bit more of an impressive park entrance, right? In terms of the residential here, I'm just going to go for my old faithful favourite. I'm going to give a policy district for European Suburbia. And then a lot of it is very easy zonable grid. Try to do a mix of grid and curves here. But European Suburbia will zone in no problem. I think everything to the left of this tile and up to that junction there will remain residential, with a commercial office centre focusing in around the main municipal centre, I suppose. Same thing there as well. We also have buses here too, so I think it's going to make sense to connect all this system. And we could do another elevated crossing here, but this road isn't massively busy really, so I think I'm just going to put a couple of crossing nodes in there. Does that reposition the bus stops? It has slightly. Let's just move that one back down. So then they can actually use the bus systems. Which the orange ones are moving around. Could also connect that into the car factory as a bit of a worker's access. I think I'm going to do that. I'll blend it in with some gates as well so it doesn't look like an open public pathway. You know, it's a side entrance if you have a worker's card. Or working at Toyota, which is such a good name. Honestly, I wish I could have chosen more names. You guys had so many good ideas. Okay, but nice to see the transit working now. They're still slowly staggering out. Well, there goes a fire helicopter, finally. So it should hopefully stop the epidemic of burnt buildings we've got around the city. But let's focus on bringing in some commercial office activity into the town centre here and possibly consider some medium density apartments at the same time. So just scanning my find it tag for medium density apartmentage, which is absolutely a word. And I think some of the career assets are actually going to work essentially as an extension of the police station. I bet there's a fusing here. Because they've got the parking garages on the front. It's not a fusing I'm totally against. Especially with kind of like the warning decal. The yellow and black stripes. Yeah, I think I'd be quite happy with that. It's possible to happen on the other side as well, but I don't want to get too mirrored. Let's definitely have a Green Cities apartment on the corner there as well. And then in this block here, I think we'll run some wall-to-wall in an attempt to recreate some sort of condo vibe here. Which I think will sit quite nicely, especially in orbit of the pool, if we just go ahead and duplicate these up. Yes. Community pool and the condos from wall-to-wall. Always a good combo. And then there's a lovely little spot there for some car parking. And even a little Railroads of Japan plaza, just because it's a little 2x2 space. So that's already eaten into an absolute enormous amount of our residential demand, which was really high. I'd also like a grocery store here too, which I think one from King Lenovo's will do us. And it will definitely be close enough to connect to the arterial. We'll pop it into the 90-degree corner of the road. There we go. It's just about connected there, isn't it? Although then again, do we want that? Not that it won't fit, will it? Because of the fence on the side. I could always delete the road. Yeah, I think it will do. Again, purely for brand exposure, I can't resist having the logo face onto the corner of the road like this, right? And this little area here. That we can probably get another little plaza in there too. Just spin that around. Directly out the front of the store. And then we can just push the concrete where it would flow. Also remove the residential zoning from this block as well. That's no longer needed. And then the road around the back, let's change this to non-parking road and we use it as a, I guess, industrial access road. Blend it into this whole area here with the trucks, a few more trailers, etc. Right, my usual larger commercial block detailing here. I'm happy with the crawl. I certainly want some taller buildings down this end of the city, so let's re-explore the world of medium density apartments. I think a couple of these in their own development. Just regular vanilla towers. Which as much as we chime on about the DLC in CS1 a lot of the time, which it absolutely does need for the record, the complete base game experience is very jarring. But some of the vanilla assets are absolutely of decent enough quality to use for residential buildings, I think. So we'll have that there. We'll bring a pathway coming down the side, allowing people to cross. So we a cell of zoning on this side, which is slowly starting to grow in now. And then just separate the, I guess, tower apartment block with a little tree line here. And we've probably got room for some sneaky little car parks for these apartments to nestle in alongside here. And if it sits and fits, I'm going to use another Railroads of Japan plaza. Just to tuck it in. Fill out these little spaces between the buildings. And we just have these little organic tower block regions making up our new residential suburbia district. It's probably going to make sense for this condo block to also continue down the other side as well, isn't it? If we can squeeze you in. Yeah, that'll just be about right. I'm quite curious to see how people are actually arriving here. The roads off the highway are just not busy at all. Most of them, I think, are coming by train, though. And actually, yeah, they are. So they're all using the buses. Why are you stopping there? Are you okay? What on earth are you doing? Why did they do that? I've never seen that before. Very peculiar. Why are they doing that? That's the first time I've ever seen that happen in 4,000 hours. That's so weird. Is that because of the shape of the road? Let me just come back down to normal 4-lane here. Take that back to the intersection. Okay, let's see if he likes that. Wait for the next one. There we go. Now it's working. I've never seen that before. That was obviously because of the asymmetrical road type. They were picking up passengers from the opposite side of the road. Very interesting. But I think that's how most people are getting here from the train via the downtown. I suppose there is actually another highway connection down here too, isn't there? But again, nothing insanely busy, is it? Let's bring our service point into the build. We're also going to need this as well, with the presence of pedestrianisation. And we'll do large mixed. No, this is noise pollutive quite badly, so we want to be careful. I actually wonder. Oh yeah, look at that. Even the fences are aligning, everyone. Has there ever been a better sits and fits moment than that right there? Service point in King Leonard's supermarket is a match made in heaven. If you're looking for asset inspiration from this series. Let's just go big apron, right? And then to detail this here, let's pull in the industrial fence that the asset's using. And we'll stick it on a line to fence mode tool. And then where I have this little alleyway here, I'm tempted to use a bit of prop fencing. Probably this one will work. As if it's a gate that swings, again, for perhaps a little bit of worker access, just because that looks so much like an alleyway. You can imagine workers approaching from this side. We'll just cut in and take this back gate on the edge of the supermarket. I think I'd be quite happy with that. And then just some props to expand the back of our little suburban shopping centre here. Of course, a couple of vehicles always helps to tie things together, doesn't it? But that's really cool. I'm actually massively happy with that. I think with the rest of our buildings here, I'm going to zone in the occasional block of high density commercial. Now, these residentials might begin to whinge about it, but we'll use trees to dampen the sound coming through. And then low density can exist everywhere around it. Again, just as in cities too recently, plopping and zoning working in perfect harmony. And then we can use some of those trees just to start dampening any severe noise pollution that begins to affect the residences. Let's see what we get coming in for high density commercial. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Make it historical at level 1. Nothing bigger than that. Yeah, you're possibly too much. Let's see if we can regrow. Might have to end up plopping. And of course, let's actually make the pedestrian area functional. Otherwise, there's no point putting it down, is there? I'm also not averse to some specifically chosen commercial to sit within the park itself. Probably King Leno's stuff in this instance. So I'm thinking lots of cafe action here in terms of the commercial we're going to use in the town square. Now, just thinking, there's a lot of assets, but I don't really have a cafe tag, and it's been a while since we've set up one of the tags here. So I'll work through how this works. This is the same thing I'm using here. So you can tag assets that suit a certain theme. I only have 2 of them, single story homes and medium density apartments, but you can do them for literally whatever you want. And they're very powerful. So we want to come into our low density commercial buildings and then just take a scroll through and see what cafe action we can find. The ice cream shop for sure. So we'll click the tag next to it. And then we want to type in the bottom. We're just going to call this cafes. Okay. And now that is a cafe. Let's go ahead and find a few more. And then we hit refresh. That'll pull in all the new cafes, turn it on. And then you just get your cafe assets. So if you're ever in need of eatery or coffee shop or little burger place, perhaps a place to get Greek food, whatever it is you fancy, you've got the assets ready to go in their own section. And you can just pick and choose. And of course, if you're playing with custom assets as well, I'm just official assets here. And you know, those lists can get quite elaborately long. I think I also want to fuse in a catfish here as well. Yeah, that corner actually suits the corner better, doesn't it? Of the turn of the road. Sweet. And then use some different ones over here. Let's go for the ice cream parlour for sure. I think that'll be quite appropriate opposite from a amusement park asset, won't it? And then do we dare go for one of King Leno's rooftop cafes? We'll just splice that together on the front there. Which will just give us this little nice prop decorated street area here. We can cross over to see some cake. And of course that really cute sight line down to the police station as well. Fantastic. I think they will, not sure if they'll come down this side. I wonder if I gave them an elevated path node, if it would actually connect them in. It probably would. People are just about the sort of cycling through shrubbery, aren't they? I need to bob those plants off as well. But either way, I think we're at a pretty good point for some detailing now. Just the suburbs to detail up to the highway. Reintroduce the forest line because it's all a bit random around here. We'll dense it out and thin it out in areas. And then over here in the corner, I think I'll go for a little bit of garbage collection probably, just to serve this side of the city. Because I think it's all currently coming from across the highway, isn't it, from this area? Which they do actually have quite good access. Because remember, there's this little industrial slip ramp here. That's coming off to serve where there's a ton of garbage processing down there. So nice to see our road networks actually optimizing the service industry here, isn't it? And I'm really liking how Owsley's beginning to look across the water here, right? Skyline's coming up. We can see some of the new residential towers present behind the waterfront now as well. Holy crap. Hello, people. Hello. Hello indeed. How many are waiting here now? It's only 137 serviced because, there you go, 273 now. This closed eastern loop, I think you might need a few more vehicles. Yeah, 600 people hanging out over there. I don't really want to change the vehicle model, because then it's going to be the same as the other one. It's such a shame that the base game one is the highest capacity. Okay, we'll just go more vehicles then. Let's just double. Let's go up to 8. That should help make a dent in it a little bit. But fantastic to see, isn't it, right? Been speaking for the last few episodes previous to this that the ferry network was worth the prep, wasn't it? Then again, we were talking earlier about how people are getting over here. It's the ferries, isn't it? Didn't even consider them when I was looking at it. I was like, no one's driving in, and everyone on the train is going to the circuit. Which also looks very sweet from here as well, doesn't it? Probably my favourite bit of the map, this. Really enjoying it over here. But yes, finish off the rest of the suburb. Detail up all the town centre around the commercial here. And then we'll hopefully look forward to satisfying some much needed residential demand. Grab yourself some snacks, and we'll be right back with Illium detailing time-lapse. Alright guys, let's have a little detailing review, shall we? So the town of Owsley is settled in really nicely here. I've got a really cute mini sprawl. Looks like a little mini sample of downtown, isn't it, out here? Off of the highway interchange, lots of forest bordering wavy, curvy suburbs here, again, which all zoned in very nicely. European suburbia, of course. Wonderful residential park. There's IMT down the couplet system. Also expanded some pathways here with some general plaza detailing. Benches, statues, places to grab something to eat on your way into the stadium. Added in some fenced commercial on the edges of the park, just so it looks like this space is actually real. Likewise with the same thing on the other side as well, extra garbage props, containers, fencing, just to help service the commercial that's in the park. All this has been hedged up with my own hedge lining, more trees added into the central park space. Again, a big shout out to Acid Ryan's showcase where he'd had a pretty similar configuration to this, basically just all the water-bound assets in a configuration. Leads for a really nice, interesting town square space, doesn't it? People hanging out here by the gazebo. Views up to the hotels of Owsley on the waterfront, of course. Some really nice views. You can even see the Gold Beach Hotel sign there too. We love a sight line, don't we? Up here, mix of high and low density commercial, residential. All sat in, some zoned stuff in here as well, which are zoned in really nicely actually. Giving us some little authentic back alleyway spaces with the zoning coming in. There's a school in here because we were screaming for education issues. But we probably need a high school, which we'll put further down the town as we grow east toward the edge of the map. Down here, more expanded supermarket detailing with the service point, which has been such a nice combination of assets, hasn't it? Really like these two assets together, the small grocery store from King Leno's shopping pack and a service point does wonders, doesn't it? And then over here, our commercial continues down Main Street, which is all zoned again. Before we arrive at our industrial area, which has been fenced off, with a little bit of a workers' access pathway here back to the suburb. Zoned industry, garbage collection with expanded prop, garbage truck detailing in and around the fire station over here. And then the forest comes up here, just against the couplet system. And we'll have a look at our lines. Yeah, so some of the buses are busier than others, but the stops are clearing out at least. And then we'll also take a look at Owsley Loop B, which is pretty much the same, isn't it? So those buses are doing a really nice job of just moving people around the town. Trams and metro are not particularly needed, although the ferries are doing an awful lot of heavy lifting here, aren't they? Which, speaking of, we'll just check out if those extra vehicles have made a dent. They should have done. Yeah, the backlogs are much smaller here now. That's good. Of course, pretty much all of them that arrives here is taking the train back to a different location, aren't they? Which I absolutely love. The frames are suffering over here now with so many people walking. And then we'll also take a look around the detailing of the live stream recently across this. Look how big Illium is now. If we just take a minute to admire the crawl here across the highway networks. Coming up and over with trains coming into the city. Over the hill with the central park. Just massive. One of the most sprawling projects I think we put together in, well, ever, I think. Yeah, this is what we did on the stream. Just a really nice use of terrain. Nice detailing at the front of our education buildings. Loads of path layering as the terrain shifts. Quite a challenging build, in all honesty. This one, the terrain was a real feature of the build. But I think it turned out really nicely, especially with the framing of this monorail line with the metro under it as well. Right? Isn't that so cool? Just, I'm very happy with the downtown space. And then we also had some financial districts and renewed history fusing, which I felt was quite a nice combination of assets. Of course, packed with props in all our little spaces. Of course, always shout out some bollard detailing. A little bit of flower bed repurposing as well. But yeah, a lot of fun. Thank you for hanging out with me in your evenings on the live streams. Do appreciate it. We're live most Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 PM UK now, if you'd like to come and join us for one. please do. It'd be a pleasure to have you there. But otherwise, guys, that will do it for today. We'll definitely take a break next week from this little particular area of Illium and head out toward the coast over by Sapphire Marina, essentially the opposite side of the map from here. As we built out so much infrastructure over this side of the map the last 5 or 6 episodes or so. An enormous shout out to the YouTube members and patrons bankrolling these videos, with a royal call to our Golden Egg patrons. Casino, Spartan Angel, Michael W, Wolfo, Sebastian, Phoenix MD, Jamin, Great C, Brizzy, Sean, Trevor Larson, and John Mittag. Thank you so much indeed for all of your incredible support. If you want to get involved in that, links to Patreon and Instant Gaming are the best ways to do so. Likes, comments, and shares also help me dramatically. And YouTube will release my family if this video gets 1 like. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Enjoy the cinematics, and I thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.